Hello students, welcome to our student support program for mathematics, grades 10 and 11. Our topic for today is indices. This is the second part of the chapter indices. So let us start. You will recall that in the previous lesson, we have learned about how to write a number in index form and in expanded form. We have also learned about the multiplication law and the division law. So writing in expanded form will be 6 times 6 times 6 times 6 for 6 to the power of 4. And the multiplication law, you will recall that we need to have the same base. So if I have a to the power of x times a to the power of y, this will give me a to the power of x plus y. And for the division law, I will have a to the power of x divided by a to the power of y, which is a to the power of x minus y. Now, in today's lesson, we will learn about the power law and the zero index. So what is the power law? Let us consider 6 to the power of 2 raised to the power of 4 and y cube raised to the power of 2. So 6 square raised to the power of 4. What does it mean? It means 6 square times 6 square times 6 square times 6 square. Applying the multiplication law of indices, what do you get? Yes, 6 to the power of 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, which will give me 6 to the power of 8, which is same as 6 to the power of 2 times 4. Now, y cube raised to the power of 2 will mean y cube times y cube, which will give me y to the power of 3 plus 3, that is y to the power of 6, which is same as y raised to the power of 3 times 2. So what can you observe here? We are multiplying the powers. So a to the power of x raised to the power of y will give me a to the power of x times y. That is a to the power of xy. And this is what is called the power law. Let us take a first example. Simplify the following. So 7 to the power of 3 raised to the power of 5 will give me 7 to the power of 3 times 5, that is 7 to the power of 15. V power 4 to the square will give me V power 8, that is 4 times 2. S to the power of 6 raised to the power of 7 will give me S to the power of 6 times 7, that is S to the power of 42. Second example. Simplify the following. First one, a cube to the power of 4 times a to the power of 5. So here you can see that we will have a power law as well as the multiplication law of indices to apply. So a cube to the power of 4 will give me a to the power of 3 times 4 times a to the power of 5, which will give me a to the power of 12 times a to the power of 5. So now, applying the multiplication law of indices, we will get a to the power of 17. Just be careful, we should not be multiplying all the powers. We only multiply a cube raised to the power of 4, and then we apply the multiplication law of indices. That is, we add the powers. Now a second example, t to the power of 4 times t squared raised to the power of 5 will give me t to the power of 4 times t to the power of 2 times 5. That is t to the power of 4 times t to the power of 10, which will give me t to the power of 14. I add the powers. Third part, h to the power of 14 divided by h to the power of 2 raised to the power of 5. So I get h to the power of 14 divided by h to the power of 10. Now I need to apply the division law of indices. So I subtract the powers, which will give me h to the power of 4. Next one, s cubed raised to the power of 7 divided by s squared raised to the power of 8, which gives me s to the power of 21, 3 times 7, 21, divided by s to the power of 16. So I have to subtract the powers and I get s to the power of 5. Now you have a few questions to practice on the power law. Now we move on to the next part. Simplify the following. 6 to the power of 3 divided by 6 to the power of 3. If I write these two numbers in expanded form, I will get 6 times 6 times 6 over 6 times 6 times 6. Now, simplifying, you can see that 6 will cancel with 6. I'm dividing by 6 and I get 1. But if instead of writing in expanded form, I decide to use the division law of indices. So 6 power 3 divided by 6 power 3 will give me 6 to the power of 3 minus 3, which will give me 6 power 0. Let us take a second part. M to the power 4 divided by m to the power 4. So again, writing in expanded form and simplifying, I will get 1. But if I apply the division law of indices, m power 4 divided by m power 4 will give me m to the power of 4 minus 4, which is m to the power of 0. So what can you notice here? For each of the two parts, I get 1 and 6 power 0 for the first part. For the second part, I get 1 and m power 0. So what can you conclude? That 6 to the power of 0 is equal to 1. M to the power of 0 is equal to 1, because we should be getting the same answer even if we are using two different methods. So, now we look at the meaning of a power 0. Any number raised to the power of 0 is 1, except 0. So any number that you're going to take raised to the power of 0 will give you 1, except 0 to the power of 0. Let us take the third example now. Evaluate the following. So 2 to the power of 0 will be 1. Part B, 5 to the power of 0 will give you 1. Part C, 1 over 8 raised to the power of 0 will still give you 1. Part D, p to the power of 0 is equal to 1. Now, minus 2 to the power of 0 is 1. Observe that the minus 2 is between brackets. So it means that the negative as well is raised to the power of 0. Minus 2 to the power of 0 is 1. Now, look at part F. Minus 2 to the power of 0. It's only the 2 which is raised to the power of 0. So we know that 2 to the power of 0 is 1. But we have a negative sign in front. So the answer will be negative 1. So you need to be very cautious here. Negative 2 raised to the power of 0 is not the same as negative 2 raised to the power of 0. Next part, 6d power 0. So it means that we have 6 times 1, since d to the power of 0 is 1. So 6 times 1, which is 6. Next part, 7 over n to the power of 0. Now n to the power of 0 is 1. So we get 7 over 1, which is 7. Next example, evaluate. So you have 4 parts here. Let us look at the first part. 2 to the power of 3 plus 2 to the power of 0. Now, what is 2 to the power of 3? It means 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. 2 to the power of 0 is 1. So 8 plus 1 is equal to 9. Part B. 5 to the power of 2 times 5 to the power of 0 plus 5. So 5 power 2 is 25. 5 power 0 is 1. So I have 25 times 1 plus 5. 25 times 1 will give me 25. Added to 5, which will give me 30. Next part. 6 to the power of 2 plus 6 minus 6 to the power of 0. So 6 to the power of 2 is 36, plus 6 minus 1, as 6 to the power of 0 is 1. So 36 plus 6 minus 1, which gives me 41. The last part, 1 to the power of 3 plus 2 to the power of 0 minus 3 to the power of 2. So 1 to the power of 3 is 1, 2 to the power of 0 is 1, and 3 to the power of 2 is 9. So I get 1 plus 1 minus 9, which is minus 7. Now you have a few questions to practice. So in today's lesson, we have learned about the power law, that is a to the power of x raised to the power of y, which will give me a to the power of x times y, and the zero index. So any number raised to the power of 0 will give me 1 except 0. So students, we have come to the end of the second part of the lesson on indices. Until we meet again, it's goodbye.